Welcome to the video. This video is going to be about cars that are cheap that pretty much anybody can afford. Afford is a very tricky word because to some people afford is 10,000, afford is 3,000. I don't know. So this one's just going to kind of be in the middle ground. I'm going to include some more expensive but affordable cars and also cars that aren't affordable to everybody, but they are affordable to people that have less money, if that makes any sense. But these cars are all going to be fun, reliable, or both. So coming in at number one is going to be the Mazda Miata. I think everybody knew this car was going to be on the list. I'm not going to put it at number one. I'm just going to throw it at number 10. This car is just amazing. It's just going to rank so low just because it has two seats and not that much power, but it has really good handling. You get a convertible top. I think you only get like 100 horsepower, so it's not very fast, but it is very fun. And especially if you live in like the West Coast or where it's like really hot weather and like really nice, no snow, don't have to deal with anything, it's a perfect car. But people that live in the Midwest like me, you can only use it about half of the year or the entire year if you live dangerously. But even if you do live in the Midwest like me, you can just put on probably winter tires through the winter time and maybe put some sandbags in the back, just put some weight on those wheels, and you should be able to make it out of the winter time, unless you live in like Colorado where they get really heavy snow. So yeah, that'll be number 10. Coming in at number 9 is going to be the BMW 3 Series. The BMW 3 Series from like 1999, I believe. The E46 generation or the E36 generation is the generation I'm talking about, because those are the generations that are becoming affordable now. Where I live, you can probably pick one up for around 5 to probably even 3 to around 8,000, depending on the mileage and condition of the car. This car has like a BMW Straight 6, which is a really cool engine. I don't think it sounds very good even in the M3. You can hate me for that all you want, but just look at sound clips. It kind of sounds like a weed whacker, if I'm honest. But I'm sure I've never ridden it. Actually, I have ridden inside of the diesel one in Europe. It does sound. I'm sure it sounds a lot better from the inside, but it's a really good, fun car. You can get a coupe. You get good usability out of it. Not very good gas mileage or reliability, but it's still a fun car, and it still looks very nice. Coming in at number 8 is going to be a more expensive car. This is a car that I've actually been looking at to actually buy. It's going to be the Veloster Turbo or the Veloster R-Spec. The R-Spec is slots below the Turbo, but they're pretty much the same car. Maybe just like $1,000 different. It just sounds cooler, R-Spec, but it's not. That's not the better trim. However, the Veloster, it competes with cars like the Civic, the Golf, I don't even know, the WRX, obviously like SI and GTI. However, you get more usability out of this car if you were to go with a Civic Si. That's about it. The Civic Si, the GTI has a beat in usability. But the Veloster comes with the 200 horsepower and like 190 pound-feet of torque engine, making it a pretty quick car actually. And it looks really cool. So you'll get stares on the street, which is what I'm looking for. Also, you just get the good power and good usability, and you get a really good warranty with it too. It's like 6 year, 100,000 miles, I believe. So it is a Hyundai. However, if it does break, you got that warranty on your back. Joining the list on number 8 is going to be the Honda Civic Si. The generation I'm talking about is pretty much any generation besides the brand new one, because those are kind of expensive. Even like the ones from 2013 and on are still kind of expensive. Those are about 11, 12,000. I wouldn't buy those, but if you want the interior features, then that's good. The performance on those isn't as nice because the Redline is only at like I think it's 7,000 RPM because it has the K24 in it. But the generations I'm really looking at is the 2006 to, I think it's 2011, I believe. Those
Those models have redline up to 8,000. They're really fun cars. Plus, I think those the ones from '06 to 11 look better than the brand new ones. Other than the brand new one, I like that one a lot. I actually own one myself. Not the SI, but just like the Civic. It's an EX model. But you get practicality. The four-door looks good. The two-door looks good. The styling doesn't really change very much beyond the base model, but it's still, you get hints that it's a Civic Si, which is kind of nice, instead of being so flashy and like outgoing. Like you can have all the fun to yourself and nobody else would know. You won't get pulled over. Yeah, that's number 8.
Coming in at number 6 is going to be the I believe it's SN95 Mustang, the one from like 1999 to 2004. Make sure to not get the V6 for this car. It's going to be a lot cheaper, and it's going to be a lot worse than the V8. The V8 comes with like 200, like I think like 80 horsepower, 300, something like that. I'm not too sure about the power figures, but it's a really fast car in a straight line. Just in the corners, it's not very good. I don't think it has independent rear suspension. It just makes good power. My friend has one, and it sounds really good. He's got a straight pipe with side exhaust, and I was standing right next to it one day, and he just revved it, and I actually got kind of scared. I know I'm a pussy for that. But yeah, it's a really cool car, and you can pick one up for cheap, and you can say you have a big V8. I think it's a 4.6. I know that for sure. So that's going to be number 6. Coming in at number 5 is going to be the Scion TC. The Scion TC just recently got killed off, so I think that dipped the sales number, or not the sales numbers, the price tags on the remaining ones by a lot in the used market, and I'm pretty sure there's probably still some standing in dealerships. It's not that old of a car yet. But my cousin actually had a Scion TC, and it's not the coolest car or the best looking car. It's just like really average. The back seat's actually really good, even though it's a 2-door coupe. You get a hatchback in the trunk, so I'm not sure how big that is, but I'm sure it's a decently sized, because the back is kind of like a wedge, like kind of a wedge shape. What I can say about it is that it's pretty slow, but from the inside, the exhaust actually sounds pretty nice. It's like a really bassy, I don't want to say droney, but like really bassy sound that really sounds good. Kind of like an aftermarket one. And you get I think it's a Toyota Camry 2.4 engine in the front, so it has to be reliable there as well. So yeah, that's number 5. Coming in on this list at number 4 is going to be the Mazda RX-8. The Mazda RX-8 is a car known for bad reliability, which is going to knock it. I should have put it like somewhere at like number 8 on the list, maybe even number 10, just because of the reliability. But if you really want a unique car that stands out, this is the car to go with. It revs to 9,000 RPM. I think either 9 or 10,000 RPM with the manual transmission, which those are kind of hard to come by. But the automatic still goes up to like 8. You get like 240 horsepower and really low torque. I think it's like 140 pound-feet of torque. But just like the Veloster, you get 3 doors. 1 door, or actually I think 2 doors on the driver's side, and then you get 4 doors. Yeah, each side has its own little like half door. The Veloster has 2 doors and then a half door on the other side. But the Mazda RX-8 is an interesting car because it has a rotary engine. If you're gonna shop for one, make sure you get one with the brand new engine. Like I'm talking brand new. That's only got like a couple miles on it, or like just a couple 10,000 miles on it. Otherwise, it's going to break. The apex seals are going to wear out at like 70, 80,000 miles, and that's going to require a brand new engine. You can either buy one with without the engine replacement, but you know it's going to like die soon, and then replace it yourself, or you can just save yourself the headache and just get a car with the engine that's already been replaced. Either or, the RX-8 is still a pretty cool car, and you can pick one up for really cheap now. To the number 3 position on this list is going to be the Mazda Mazda Speed 6. It's kind of a weird name. I had a Mazda 6 from 2012, which that car is not the same car. They never made a Mazda Speed version of the second generation. However, that would have been sweet. We're right now at the third generation. But the Mazda Speed 6, you get all-wheel drive. It's kind of funny that the engine that's in that car is derived in the new Mustang, the 4-cylinder turbo. It's pretty much the same engine, I think it's the same block actually, different turbos. But you get like 250 horsepower, all-wheel drive, so this is a good car for the Midwestern people. I knew a couple of guys that had them. They said it was really fun. I never actually driven in one or rode one or drove one myself, but I heard it's a really fun car. However, the reliability is kind of crappy, and with all Mazdas of this generation, you get the rear quarter panel rust next to the door, which kind of sucks. It makes the car look bad. But if you find a panel to cover that, or just repair it, or just get a brand new panel, then it'll be great. And to number 2 on this list is going to be the Nissan 350Z. The Nissan 350Z I actually was planning on buying when I first was shopping for my first car, but it was a salvage title and my parents didn't want me to get it just because of that. It was like listed for $6,000, but it looked really nice. It had like a stupid ass body kit on it that I thought was pretty cool at the time, but now it was like, looking back at it, it looks really crappy. But the 350Z, you get 260 horsepower, VQ engine that sounds awesome. Sounds exactly, not exactly, but really similar to the GTR, the new one, the R35. You get rear-wheel drive, cool styling, even for like its time from 2003 to 08. It's just a really cool-looking car. Turn heads, put an exhaust on it, and it sounds really good. It's really fast. I think it handles. I think its handling is okay. I think people like over dramatize its handling, but a thing weighs like 3,400 pounds. It doesn't look like it. Downsides are that pretty much just has 2 seats. Other than that, it's a really nice car for not a lot of money. And earning a position as number 1 on this list is going to be the Honda S2000, particularly the AP1 generation without the body kit and the 9,000 RPM redline. With this car, I just said it, you get 9,000 RPM to rev out, and it's a Honda engine, so it doesn't really matter that you rev it up that high. It's still going to stay intact, not broken. Now this car is pretty expensive, even for how old it is, or especially for how old it is. I think it's like going on 17 years now, but it still looks fantastic. You get Honda reliability, you get a convertible top, put an exhaust on it and it sounds amazing too. I've never driven in one or drove in one, or ridden around in one, but I've seen a lot of videos on it and it looks amazing. I'd buy one right now, but just the prices are way too high for what I want to spend for such an old car. You don't get that many interior niceties like you do on new ones, and you only have 2 seats to work with, and the trunk isn't very good, I wouldn't imagine. But yeah, the Honda S2000 is definitely number 1 on this list. Just think about it as a Miata with a bunch of more safety features, better interior, and way more power. That's going to be the list today, guys. Let me know what you thought about this video. I can make another video just like this. There's